We are back on the day that football begins, and we're going to go streaking. We got interesting streaks that teams are taking into week one, and the Bears are trying to snap this one. They've lost 5 straight games at home. If they lose Monday night against Minnesota, it would match their second longest home losing streak in the franchise's history. Remember, they've been playing for well over 100 years in Chicago. So that's the question. Do the Bears find a way to get a win in what will be a statement game inside the division? And I know you have your eyes on the marriage of Caleb Williams and his new coach.
Yeah, I think the Vikings win the football game, but Ben Johnson, who's now the head coach in Chicago, the last 4 times his offenses have played against Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator in Minnesota, he's put 122 points on him.
With the Lions.
With the Lions, different humans, but he obviously understands how to play against them. 16 touchdowns, 14 punts. That's video games type stuff. So I want to just see, can Caleb do it? Can Caleb operate it? You have the coach, you have the understanding, the vision of how to handle and then attack Brian Flores' defense and understand different people, Jared Goff. How much can Caleb operate? You know, and that's the thing is, you know, the pressure is going to come. And that's always been something that Caleb has struggled with. It's kind of been hit or miss. Like sometimes he makes plays athletically, and then other times he really hurts the offense. What does that look like come Monday night will be a huge storyline.
Yeah, I think it's exactly what you're talking about. Can Caleb be the guy that everybody thinks he can be at the Chicago Bears? Like Ben Johnson, you've seen him during reports being frustrated with the offense. He's frustrated with Caleb Williams and how he's taking in, like, handling the play call, deciphering the defense and types of things. Right after the last preseason game, he's talking about the first 2 drives, saying lethargic play has plagued us all camp long.
Right.
So for me, when I look at both of these teams, I look at the way Kevin O'Connell talks about his quarterback and J.J. McCarthy, who's technically in his second year of the same system. And you're like, he's more stoic, he's more calm, he loves J.J.'s routine, how he deciphers defenses, the motions, everything. I feel more comfortable with the coach's body language on the Minnesota side than I do on the Bears side.
So let me put the question to you this way. They play Monday night, the first Monday night game of the season for us on ESPN. So Tuesday morning we'll be sitting here. If I'm telling you we're going to be raving about one of these 2 young quarterbacks, Caleb Williams or J.J. McCarthy, which one are you telling me it's going to be?
J.J. McCarthy. Because when you look at O'Connell, Wes Phillips, and what they've done, any quarterback in the system, they've always performed. You go out and get Jordan Mason from the Niners to help fill out the new faces on the Vikings offensive line. You get Will Fries and Ryan Kelly. They're going to have a strong run game, one of the better play-action teams in the league. I like J.J. McCarthy, and when you're in doubt, you throw it up to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about J.J. McCarthy. You can tell the staff believes in him a lot. So I'm excited to watch him play.
Can you imagine what the conversation in Chicago will be like Tuesday morning if J.J. McCarthy, who hasn't played in an NFL game, who was in the same draft class as Caleb Williams, if he goes into Chicago, the area he grew up, and comes away with a win in his first NFL start against Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams with all the conversation about them, you could imagine what it would be like on Tuesday morning. There's a lot of pressure in Chicago.
Absolutely. I mean, but you have made the point repeatedly, Dan, that the Caleb Williams, the marriage with Ben Johnson, it's going to take a little time. You have been cautioning everybody. Don't expect them to look perfect at the beginning of the season. And here it comes, finally, week 1.
And it's going to be a very different experience than Caleb had against the Buffalo Bills in the preseason when Buffalo declared pre-snap, this is our coverage, and Caleb played crazy fast and was awesome, and that's what he should do. He is going to be forced to be thinking so many different ways, and I think that's what I want to see. Does Ben protect them? Does he try to, handcuff him a little bit so we settle him into the game? I think what coach settles their young quarterback into the game the fastest and the best will go a long way to see who wins the football game.
Establishing a running
one
game.
more add on that is just with Caleb Williams, he's got to be verbal about what he wants from his coach as well. A lot of time young quarterbacks that I've seen when I was playing with like Marcus Mariota, like there's a level of ego that goes into I can make every throw, I can look at every single thing. He has to be more demanding of like what he feels more
I want this, I don't want this.
I do not want this. It's such a huge deal for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson.
Fascinating game to finish up the weekend. Let's stay in the division. Our next streak, as we go through some of these streaks, Jordan Love is riding a hot one. We know that he's been a little reckless at times, but he finished last season, at least in the regular season, with 7 consecutive games without throwing a pick, the longest streak in his career without throwing an interception. And Dan, you are sky high on Jordan Love this season.
He's my MVP pick. It's time. What is this year now? 5, year 6 for Jordan Love? Organization did something they haven't done in 20-plus years. They took a first-round wide receiver, Field Yates, not a lateral comparison, but said Matthew Golden, who they took out of Texas, reminded him a lot of Steve Smith. So this is arguably the deepest skill group in the NFL. 5 or 6 legit NFL wide receivers, 2 really good tight ends. Jordan Love's crazy talented. This has been an offense that, pass game-wise, has been, like, relatively efficient, but hasn't necessarily had the volume. If I'm Matt LaFleur and I got Micah Parsons on the other side, I'm chucking the heavens out of the football this season and saying, be aggressive. This is a quarterback that has all the physical ability to get it done. He has to take that big
And you talk about marrying that, too, with one of the better run offenses in the league last year, who runs the ball over 50% of the time. So, yeah, I hope they take the governor off. I hope he has a big year. I love the MVP pick because the Packers are my Super Bowl pick.
You're talking about how deep they are at wide receiver, and they still have some wide receiver questions coming into the season. Christian Watson is out. We're not sure when he'll be back. Jaden Reed hasn't practiced recently, didn't practice yesterday. Matthew Golden is still a first-round draft pick who hasn't played in an NFL game yet. And right now it seems like Romeo Doubs might be their number one wide receiver going into the season. We'll see what Matthew Golden can do.
And I guess the question is, what does Micah Parsons bring to this team, both on the field and in, like, it feels to me like if I'm a player on that team and I see my organization go out and make that trade a week before the season starts, I'm thinking to myself, this is our year, right? This is Super Bowl or bust in Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. You go out and, like, just like Dan said, they go and get a wide receiver the first time in over 2 decades.
Right.
Go and you sell the whole farm to go get a talent like Micah Parsons. Like, the Green Bay Packers are telling everybody in the world, like, this is our year. This is what we want to do. We are going for a Super Bowl this year. I
will come back to this a little later when we have some more time in a second. I believe the world has forgotten about the Lions. And to some degree, I get people up here every single day making their picks for the season. We love Green Bay. We love Philadelphia. Watch out for the Rams out there. The 49ers are better than people think they are. The Vikings might be dangerous. Tampa Bay. People just forget about the Lions. The Lions were so decimated defensively last year, they basically had no chance to beat anybody by the time they got to the playoffs. Prior to that, they were the best team. I know they've lost their coordinators on both sides. I feel like the world has kind of forgotten them. Let me get one more streak in here, and it involves Jim Harbaugh. So tomorrow night in Brazil, Shefty, we will have the Chiefs and the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, here's our last streak, has never lost an opener in the NFL. He's 5-0 in season openers, tied with Raymond Berry for the most wins without a loss among NFL head coaches in the Super Bowl era. The game being in Brazil, right, Shefty, it changes the dynamic of everything. It becomes a function of who handles that extremely unusual trip better and all that.
But there's a part of that. If we go back to last year, it was the Eagles and Packers that played in that spot last year. And Jordan Love got hurt. There were questions about the field. Everybody's confined to the hotel. I always think the opening game, weird things happen. Teams are more uncertain and uneasy about week one than any other week of the season. And when you add another element like this and make it an international game on a field that has been shaky in the past, there are all sorts of things that can happen. But the one thing you can count on in the opener, Jim Harbaugh has been great. And the other thing, Andy Reid, when you give him time to prepare, he's been great. So it's 2 coaches at the top of their craft.
We see the picture. We're split kind of right down the middle here. Taylor, talk to me about why you see Kansas City coming out on top.
I like seeing Kansas City come on top because when you see the 2 Super Bowl losses they have, you see Patrick Mahomes getting buried inside and out for 60 minutes. And they go out and they get their first-round pick, Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons, they put him at left tackle. They feel really good about him. But to me, it's not necessarily about the continuity and how well the offensive line is going to play. It's Andy Reid and his ability to break down offenses and having this much time for an in-game opponent. I tell you, the AFC West, I'm more excited to watch the division than anyone else.
Great division. Look, Mahomes is sacked career high 36 times last year. I think the left side of the O-line is a big question mark. And listen, I have a little rapport with Chiefs Nation to where I'm a little bit of a hater because I stomped on the logo and then we got our ass whooped by 50. But when you look at the Chargers, they go out and draft Amarion. You got Mr. 4th of July himself, Najee Harris. You bring in Keenan Allen to go with Ladd McConkey. Listen, I love the Chargers in this game. Give me the Chargers, Greeny.
Josh Simmons, a left tackle. Josh Simmons.
Yes, Josh
Simmons left tackle. But